Castle Island is located on Day Boulevard in South Boston on the shore of Boston Harbor. It has been the site of a fortification since 1634. Castle Island was connected to the mainland by a narrow strip of land in 1928 and is thus no longer an island. It is currently a 22-acre recreation site and the location of Fort Independence. History: 1632, a battery was constructed at Fort Hill, the southernmost portion of the Boston Peninsula, as an advance line of defense in case of attack. 1634, now an established community, Boston sought defenses farther out in the harbor, on one of the numerous islands which protected the port. Shipping being the only means of receiving supplies and communications from England. Hull was the first site inspected, but the cold sea breeze proved too much for Governor Winthrop and his councillors, and this idea was abandoned. In July of this year 20 men, including Governor Thomas Dudley and his council, visited Castle Island and decided it would be perfect site for a fortress. Each man present subscribed £5 for the fortification and elected Deputy Governor Roger Ludlow of Dorchester to supervise construction. After 2 platforms and a small earthwork were constructed on the northeast side of the island, the General Court resolved that the fort at Castle Island be fully perfected, before any other fortification was begun. 1635, 3 cannons, one of which belonged to Deputy Governor Burlingham, were carried down on lighters and installed at the castle, and the garrison, made up of 2 men weekly from each of the 6 towns to be paid from the treasury of the colony, fired these at incoming vessels until the ship recognized the fortification by raising her flag. Thomas Beecher, who had come over as master of the Talbot, was one of the castle officers at this time. Captain Nicholas Simpkins was the first commander. 1775, Prince Hall and 14 other men of African descent became Freemasons on March 6, 1775 on the island. They were initiated in a British Army lodge, number 441 of the Irish Registry by J. E. Batt, Worshipful Master, on what was then still called Castle William Island. First named Castle William by the English, who were fighting the French for control over North America. One of the more famous figures to be imprisoned at the fort was Privateer Pierre Maisonat dit Baptiste. The fort was renamed Fort Independence in 1797 and is one of the oldest fortified sites in British North America. In the late 18th century it served as the first state prison in Massachusetts. The present structure, built between 1833 and 1851, is the 8th generation of forts. It is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. During the Siege of Boston at the start of the American Revolution, Castle William served as the main base of military operations for the British. The leaders of the Massachusetts Royal Administration took refuge there with their families, as did some prominent Loyalists or Tories. Major Pelham Winslow of the prominent Loyalist town of Marshfield, Massachusetts, was the commander of Castle William for a time during the Revolution. After the March 17, 1776 British evacuation of Boston, Castle William was destroyed a few days later. Long recognized for its strategic location, a new fort on Castle Island built by the War Department beginning in 1801 helped protect Boston from British attack during the War of 1812. The island is also the site of a monument to Donald Mackay, the builder of the famous clipper ships Flying Cloud and Sovereign of the Seas. The monument faces across Boston Harbor towards East Boston, where Mackay built his ships. Castle Island was originally some distance offshore, but land reclamation for expansion of port facilities has extended the mainland towards it, and it is now connected to the mainland by pedestrian and vehicle causeways. Today it is operated as a state park by the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation and is open to tours in the summer. Local law has it that an unpopular officer was walled up in the fort's dungeon following a duel in which he killed a more popular man. Edgar Allan Poe learned of the legend while serving on Castle Island in the Army, and his short story The Cask of Amontillado is said to be based on it. During World War II the U.S. Navy used the site for a ship degaussing station. As a visitor attraction, Castle Island is opening to the public year-round. From Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day weekend, Fort Independence is opening to guided tours every Saturday and Sunday from 12 noon to 3:30 p.m. During June, July and August. The fort is open on Thursday nights from 7 p.m. until dusk to allow for visitors to walk the ramparts. After Labor Day, the fort is only open on Sundays until Columbus Day, then open for 3 days of the holiday, then closed for the season. It later opens the last weekend in October for Halloween, from noon till 4 p.m. All interpretive programming is conducted by the Castle Island Association with the assistance of the DCR. Public restrooms are open March 1st through the last Sunday in November. Places named after Castle Island: Castle William Lodge No. 11, Boston, Massachusetts. See also, Vincent Potter. Further reading: Punishment at Hard Labor, Stephen Burrows and the Castle Island Prison, 1785–1798. The New England Quarterly, Volume 57, No. 2, pages 249–254. References: A.B. Castle Island. Geographic Names Information System. United States Geological Survey. A.B. Castle Island, Pleasure Bay, M Street Beach and Carson Beach. Mass Parks. Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. Retrieved August 22, 2013. ABC Fort Independence. Object of the Month. Massachusetts History Society. Retrieved February 2, 2014. State of Massachusetts, Acts and Resolves, 1784–1785, 163. Robertson, Archibald. His Diaries and Sketches in America. 80–81. Treasure Islands. UMass Magazine Online. Spring 2004. Retrieved February 2, 2014. Fort Independence on Castle Island, South Boston, Massachusetts. Castle Island Association. Retrieved February 2, 2014. External links: Castle Island, Pleasure Bay, M Street Beach and Carson Beach, Department of Conservation and Recreation.